Artistic Gamer 7, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. As you can obviously tell, this is a Create a Sim video. I actually had done this one a while back ago, so I meant some of the details of why I did some things. I sort of, not completely forgot, but vaguely only remember bits and pieces. But I actually had done this one in the middle of my Pokemon series and plans of it being either a filler cast type thing or being towards the end type thing, just so that I would have another Create a Sim, and I haven't had Create a Sims on my channel for a while, so good thing I found this one. But I only found this one because I was deciding to clean out my computer, and I was like, I need to get rid of some stuff, so why not go look through it. I found it and I was like, oh hey, I totally forgot about you. But this is of the Rito Sisters from Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. If you have played the game and you've gotten to the Rito village, you've probably encountered them. Or if you've watched my playthrough, you've definitely encountered them. Or seen them. Because I have already run across them. Obviously, the main reason why I'm doing this cast. Because when I seen them, I thought it would be fun to actually try to recreate them in Sims, but also with a little twist. In the game, they are definitely kids. I have made them more into, like, teenagers in the Sims, just because I have more options that way. But, not to spoil too much, but there is a quest that leads you to the sisters. And I don't know if it is the person who starts it, if it's their oldest sister or their mother. I can't remember in the game. And I can't even remember if they actually ever said, to be honest with you. So, not really sure on that. But I started with a base to start with them all. And then I saved that to the gallery, brought that base in 5 times, and just made little tweaks here and there for the individual sisters. So that they all looked the same and you could tell they were sisters, but there was differences in them. The current one that I'm working on is Neil, which is the first one that you will encounter, definitely for sure. When it comes to the other 4, there is sort of a certain order that you definitely naturally would probably go to, just because of the way it's done. But there is a chance that you technically could change the order, but I did the order based on how I went and seen them through my gameplay of Breath of the Wild. But with Neil here, she is the light purple one, or lilac, whichever you want to more refer it to. She was the first one. She is definitely more of one that is very assured of herself, very ambitious, very let's do this type thing. But she also was very cute and sweet. I did end up giving her the musical aspiration and also the music lover trait. And then I don't remember what I think I gave her self-assured as one of her other ones. And when it comes to the style of clothing, I know that I'm already starting on the second one. But just to get this out there, when it comes to the style of clothing, I did try to bring in some more, didn't try to go like too new looking or too fancy or anything, because Rito Village, as the word states, is like a village, but it's like, you know, very more like they don't really, the characters themselves don't really wear a lot of clothing, but the type of stuff they do is more, it has a certain style to it, basically. It's more like back in the day type villagey sort of look. And I try to keep that sort of present while bringing more of a modern look to it as well. I'm probably not explaining this in my head very, like what's in my head is probably not coming out very well in explanation. A lot of times that is one of my huge struggles, but I hope you get what I'm trying to say. But now we are on to the next one here, which this is Janelle. I think that's how I'm saying it right. She is the green one, obviously. She was probably more of a lighter green than I made her be, but honestly I made them all a slightly darker color, because if you play, personally I notice in the Rito Village, a lot of the kids are these really bright light colors, but the adults themselves are usually darker colors of them. And honestly, even in real life with people's hair and stuff like that, a lot of times your hair just some reason gets naturally darker over time. So that's what I was sort of imagining now that I'm actually making them as teenagers. Maybe the colors are becoming darker, so I don't go for the really light colors. And hers was definitely more towards a light green, but I did make her a little bit darker green. I try to give her more of a laid back look because she's the one when you run into her. She's very, very stubborn. She's sort of childish. She only really wants to eat and sort of that sort of thing. So I was like, try to give her more of the laid back look, but then I ended up giving her heels, and I can promise you I don't remember why I decided that. I don't know if it was partially because the color I was wanting to give her in the shoes wasn't popping out in sandals, or if maybe I thought maybe she would try to start dressing just a little bit better. Well, not better, but like a little bit nicer as she got older. I did make her the chef aspiration, the foodie trait, and I think the childish trait because of how she acted when I ran into her. I was like, really, child? She did not want to do what her sister wanted her to do. All she wanted was food. But you had to convince her to do what her sister wanted with food. So, eventually, she does what you want her to, but she needed food first. Now, the next one I came through in my playthrough, and also, like I was stating, it sort of seems like the first three are almost given to you the order, but technically if you roam around Rito Village, you can run into them in a different order. But this is Cree. She is the light blue one, but like I said, I do make most of them a slightly darker tone compared to what the color was of the little Rito children. I am going to try to put little pictures of them up as the video is running so that you could sort of compare them and stuff. Cree, honestly, to me, was probably the sweetest and the nicest one, and she definitely seemed very worried about both sisters, the one who wanted food and the one who was wanting them to come sing with her. So she definitely seemed like the more sweet, innocent one that wanted to like care about everyone, and she also eventually helps you figure out exactly, well, sort of exactly where the other two are at. So I did end up eventually giving her the family trait, I'm pretty sure. And I gave her sort of a dressy look, but also a casual dressy look. Like, she looks cute and adorable, but she doesn't look too overly done or anything compared to her sisters. I believe the dress, I end up giving her a dress, and I think it's more of a flowy dress. I did try to go with some things that are at least somewhat flowy on them. I think the next one has the least flowy stuff on her, but because they are the Rito Village, which is like a bird race type people, they fly, there's a lot of wind and stuff going on, so I sort of liked thinking about the flowy elements and like the outfits actually flowing around in the wind and stuff like that. So that was my reasoning behind that. I can't remember the two traits I gave to her, though. I think one may be cheerful, because she was very sweet and cheerful. Oh, and the other one is good. So, yeah, that to me made, yeah, okay. I could not remember off the top of my head. But she definitely seemed like the nicest one out of them all. Not that they all wasn't nice to a certain extent, it just, out of all of them, she seemed like the most cheerful, nice, caring one. Anyway, now we're on to the next one, which I think I took slightly longer on her, because I just could not decide on a hairstyle for her. I think I took the longest partially because of the hair. I went through so many different hairs for her. She is the yellow one, which I think she is Kotz, I think is how you would say it. The last two are spelled very similar, but it's just one letter difference. So this one is Kotz. She's the yellow one that you come across, and me personally, she was the next one that I went to see, because like I said, the Cree technically tells you about where the last two are if you go to her before you ever stumble across them on accident. And I went to Kotz first solely because I knew that the other one was going to be in a harder spot to get to, and I didn't feel like dealing with that right off the bat, so I went to the easier one to get to. But she is, I'm not going to try to give too much away, but where you find her also plays partially into my decision making. So just to give like a little bit, you do find her somewhere that deals with fish. So I did give her like the angler trait, and I do make her a little bit more like muscular and stuff like that. And also I gave her the outdoors because other than the very first sister, Neil, that you run into, she is probably the farthest out of Rito village, basically. So, and also I think I really couldn't figure out what to give her the last trait. Technically, they all probably would be loves outdoors because Rito Village honestly has no walls or like windows, anything. Like, it's all open. The breeze can get everywhere. So, eventually I would imagine all of them would love the outdoors, like could have that trait, and like as they get older and they technically would be like in the game Sims wise, you know, you could probably all give the other sisters loves outdoor and it would definitely still fit within their personality. Just with her, that's what I decided to give her currently. But yeah, like I was saying, I probably did take the longest with her just because of her hair and stuff. The makeup, I still try not to go too much on them, but I was playing around with some of it just to try to give more of their yellow color going off. And still, again, trying to keep with some of those more natural village-y, I don't know, type look. I don't know how to describe that look, but the headband and like the necklace that's look like it's handmade, basically stuff that look like it's made like easily or something. I don't know how to describe it. I had it set in my mind and I knew what I was doing, but actually trying to explain it to you all, obviously I am failing. But so yeah, so she's definitely the one that she doesn't have as much flowy stuff on, but again, a lot of my decision makings was resulting around the fact that, you know, she's probably like, I'm more of seeing her like the fishing type. So a lot of my decision making was partially because of that. Now the last one is going to be Knots. And she is the pinkish red one. I do go more red, again, going for slightly darker tones as they were getting older. So she is more, I made her more red than I did pink. And I do make her more of like the girly, flirty type one because of her personality. One of the things is like she does still like to sing, so I still give her the music lover. So her and Neil have that music lover trait both. But with her, a lot of times it seemed like she wanted an audience and she wanted to be appreciated and appraised, and things like that. So, and also because partially because she is like the color red, I ended up giving her like one of the romantic aspirations, just because to me I thought it fit with the personality that I was sort of getting off her. Of course, she was a child, but imagining that child growing up, the type of personality that would start coming with how she was already acting, to me, I thought it fit, and I didn't want to give them any of the same aspirations. The traits I was okay with if some of them had the same traits, but I did not want to give them the same aspirations. So I definitely gave her more of like a girly, romantic sort of vibe going on. Tried to make sure that I stuck with the pinks and the reds all at the same time. And like I said, she's definitely the one that came across more girly. Like, I figured she's the one who's going to care a little bit more about her look compared to her sisters. I think Kree and maybe Neil would be the next two that would start caring about their looks more than Ginley and Kotz. Oh, that's really weird. Their name, I don't even know if I'm technically pronouncing their names right, to be honest with you, but that's how I'm pronouncing them. I think when I first played through, I pronounced Neil differently, and I think at one point when I was editing, I was like, I don't think that's how I'd actually say that. So, anyway, but yeah, so that was sort of my reasoning behind all of them. The screenshot should be coming up here now. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If so, please hit that lovely like button and make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss any future videos, and that little notification bell that you can click to be notified when a video is live. Let me know which of the sisters is your favorite or which one you're probably more like. Definitely would like to hear it down in the comments below. I would say I'm probably more like Kree or Nil. Probably, maybe a little bit of Knots, but I would probably go with one of the other two more so. But anyway, all of my social medias will be down in the description below if you want to go follow me on those. Also, my Creative Sim playlist will be down in the description if you want to go check out some of my previous Creative Sims that you may have missed, that playlist is down there for your viewing pleasure. And anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!